Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day. For 150 episodes of this podcast, I've talked about spiritual practices I do, and I've offered some of my favorite ways of motivating myself, but I realized today that I haven't actually addressed the elephant in the room, so to speak. Why make spirituality motivational, and why include a spiritual dimension to motivation? Those are very good questions, and I'm glad you asked. Let me start the answer with the background on how this whole thing came to be in the first place. I've read a lot of spiritual writings from ancient masters like Lao Tzu and Confucius to more recent people of great spiritual depth like Ram Dass and Shunryu Suzuki. My own spiritual journey has led me to learn Buddhism, Taoism, Native American beliefs, the practices of Mexican curanderos, and Hinduism. I am ordained as a mainline Christian denomination minister, earned a very lengthy and expensive seminary Master's of Divinity, studied the Bible, and also do my best to live out the teachings of Jesus. To people who might think that hodgepodge of beliefs and practices are incompatible, I say hogwash because I do it every day with no confusion and no dissonance. I live in the middle of all of it where they intersect and among the commonalities of it all. Yes, there are things among all those beliefs and practices that are similar and even the same. Those are what I bring into this podcast. Over the years, I've read a lot of devotional material. I've subscribed to daily things both on paper and via apps or on websites. While they're nice, I don't always agree with the spiritual approach the writer has, and they're seldom very motivational. It's a nice thought, maybe even inspirational on occasion, but didn't really quite scratch the itch for me. I've also done a lot of webinars, seminars, and tapes in cars by some of the greatest motivational speakers. I've forgotten far more of it than I remember, and it stuck with me, giving me an extra spark of intent to always change my life for the better. Those gave me this keen hunger for tomorrow and next year, very much the same way that a pro running back looks at the goal line. I love being reminded of the fact that I have the power to choose and reshape what I leave behind in this world. What I couldn't find, though, was motivational stuff that was spiritual without being preachy and overly religious. I was looking for ancient spiritual wisdom that also helped me push my limits and empowered me to move forward in a career, as a dad, as a community member, and as a husband. I needed a glass half full message that reminded me that the glass is half full of spirit. I couldn't find it, so I decided to draw from what I had learned and write it. Motivation isn't simply for making more sales or advancing a career up a corporate ladder or building a business to a Fortune 500 company. That might be part of it, and it might happen, but if you've listened to very many of these, you know that's never the thrust of the message. Motivation, to me, is for clarity of my dream, building my dream, and implementing my dream into goals and then into tasks to achieve the goals, and not just for the ego boost of conquering something. My dream is what I believe I've been created to be and do, and so living into my dream is more like spiritual fulfillment. For me, it's being an established, published author, podcaster, and entrepreneur for the purpose of entertaining as well as inspiring other people. That takes a lot of motivation because any given day and any given hour can explode into a host of negatives that make a person want to just sit down and quit. But your dream needs to be powerful enough that you don't. Then that's why I have equal parts motivation and spirituality, because the greater one's spiritual depth, the deeper the well of motivational energy. For me, the whole point of the dream, the journey, and the achievement is to get back to the beginning, to drop away enough layers and shards of what is not me, to be more purely an expression of the universe in human form, and to leave this world with no attachment to any of what I created along my journey. That's no small trick there. And so, maybe you share something of that. Maybe you also want your life to have a rich spiritual dimension where you find satisfaction and happiness in just simply being a human being. And maybe you also have dreams and goals and you struggle with the get up and go to get things moving in a positive direction and make that stuff happen. And also, maybe, just maybe, the Motivational Devotional helps you integrate those two things, and you and I can share this unique blend that somehow makes it all work, and we can each make our dent in the world to shape it into something better. Maybe. And maybe, just maybe, along the way, you will discover what I've already discovered, which is that all of creation is conspiring in your favor, and you will trust that the universe always has your back. Thank you for being on this journey with me. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Ram Dass, once said, "The minute you don't want power, you'll have more than you ever dreamed possible." Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.